hope you're all feeling zestful for the new year. Today's reading is going to be, where will you be in 6 months' time from now? You've got 3 choices. You've got the little chicken for number 1, you've got the troll for number 2, and you have got the Swedish horse for number 3. I will be releasing private readings tonight because I've had a couple of weeks off. It's Sunday today on my website, so they may be up there by the time this gets out. On website is www.huluppu.co.uk if you fancy checking that out. So if you want to take your choice, then we'll get going.
La música de Harry Frog.
Okay, pile number 1. I think my chicken's encroaching a little bit here. Let me just shove that out of the way. Shove that. This has got a feeling, 2 different feelings here. The first feeling I thought of when I put the cards out was a feeling that New Year's resolutions may have been to... It's like having quite a reserved personality or quite a controlled personality or just quite a cool personality and deciding to be more outward going this year. And it feels as if you've been you've got something started, but you're tiptoeing into it in the last half of the year, but you really want to push something and get something moving. That could be possibly something you were doing last night or 2 ago, wasn't it, New Year's Eve, making those sort of resolutions. There's also a feeling here which is quite a strong feeling. You may know this person already, but this pile has got a feeling that you may have your eye on somebody, and this may come to some sort of romantic fruition in the next 6 months. It feels like you may have your eye on somebody with a strong personality, somebody who I guess is, the image I get is somebody who's masculine. Male or female, it's somebody who's quite forthright, quite forceful, quite confident, quite fun, quite adventurous, quite in control of themselves. There's a slight feeling here they may be a little bit overbearing in some way, but there also is a possibility in this, there's lots going on in this, that you could be working with this person, or it could be a work contact, or something could start growing that is really strong and actually in the world rather than just in your head. Let me go through the cards that I'm looking at. You have got here for the hopes and fears, and behind the Ace of Wands is making me think that the Judgment card is like starting something fresh, and for it being this time of year and looking for the next 6 months ahead, there's a feeling here that you want to put more of yourself into the year. It feels like you want to stand up and be seen and be confident and move with the world rather than sitting back, which is probably on a lot of people's minds this year, because the last 2 years have been slightly retracted in some sense. But in some way, this has probably done you some good because you realise who you want to be, where you want to be. This has a feeling of somebody that wants people around them. This isn't somebody, even if you're working from home, it feels like with the Ace of Wands here, the need to reach outwards and to involve other people and just get life moving in a way that feels like you're grasping it and running with it rather than just tiptoeing through life. It's got a really exciting feel about it, and there's definitely a strong feeling of a new relationship coming in. And I know this is a general reading, but if you can feel it already rumbling in the background, it's got an even stronger feeling. That's not very good English, but that's what I'm thinking. You've got here the first 2 cards that cross each other. You've got the 9 of Wands at the beginning, which makes me think that you may have had a period of watching and waiting and wondering, and I don't know whether that would be with regards to having your eye on somebody, or whether this, what it feels like to me, if this is a person coming into your life, I wonder whether you know who it is, because this has a feeling of somebody behind the door peeking through and watching them. So that could be, could be interpreted to looking on the internet, meeting somebody, wanting to know more about them, but it's not really got up and running yet here. The 3 of Wands makes me think that it could have started and you're just waiting for something else to happen. At early stages is what I'm thinking here, possibly with a lot of thinking, resting, wanting to know, but not. The Ace of Wands here doesn't feel, because it's got the 4 of Swords here, it feels an internal push for you to make more of the year ahead, rather than the fact this relationship is running up and running because of the Three of Wands here. It just feels as if there was another ace there, it would be different. But to me, it feels like with these two cards together, something started, but not enough. It's rolling, snowballing, hopefully. Now, you've got here the Hermit. Subconsciously, you've got the Four of Swords. Consciously, you've got the Hermit. So I wonder whether you have had a lot of time to yourself, whether you've been doing lots of thinking, wondering who you want to be, where you want to be, who you want to spend your time with, how you're going to show up next year. And we were talking, I went for a run with my sister today, my youngest sister, and we were talking about hang-up that I've got. And I was 16, 17, 18 when this happened. And she goes, you're not the same person anymore. And I'm like, oh my God, no. This was like 100 years ago. So the Four of Swords and the Hermit could have done you some justice in some way, because it feels like you want to get things moving and you've done a lot of thinking of who you are now, where you want to be next, and letting go of those cruddy bits that aren't you anymore. Now, the King of Wands and the King of Swords down here, it feels to me like somebody's coming into your life who possibly has this energy. You know, these are opposite each other. One is, I feel something you want to be. This person turns up and they're almost like, you know, if you wanted to be Coco Clown, they would turn up in a clown suit. If you wanted to be, is it Jacques Chirac? I can't remember his name. I don't know. I'm thinking of somebody who travels. This person would be that. It's like you've almost manifested somebody who is going to turn up exactly as you want to be. So there's going to be, to me, it feels like a birthday cake. There's a lot of excitement about this meeting. There's a lot of, this is the right person to me. It feels tip-top with regards to what you want to grab next year. So it's like, it would be like that Eros contact. It's like creative excitement. This person's showing up exactly as I want to be. And it's like, wow, and it just starts kicking off. There's a lot of people, I guess, because there's a work feeling here and the Five of Wands here. I think that you might meet this person either in a social group, or you might meet this person as I always do that. It's like Pepe Pew. This person in a situation that doesn't feel quite fluid. Something that you may be forced into, you don't want to go to, or you might meet this person and it doesn't flow easily at once, but it's like the attraction is immediate and it's like overwhelming with regards to whatever is going on in the background. It feels like something niggly. To give an example of this would be you being in a group, talking, and them saying something that well, I don't really like that, but you're still attracted to them and they're on your mind constantly. What you've got at your disposal to help you through this year is, I guess, with the Moon and the Three of Swords there, a really strong intuitive understanding of what relationships can give you, what you're prepared to give from yourself, as in to give in the relationship, because it feels like you may have had a few relationships that have ended in unsavoury circumstances, and you've possibly had time to readjust yourself to give what you want to give, and whether this person takes it, loves you, is a bit sort of wavery about you. It feels to me like you're not that bothered because of these cards here. It feels to me like you're giving because that's who you are, rather than you're giving to be loved. But the attraction here is big, I think. Your person feels like a strong personality, possibly with the Ace of Pentacles and the Emperor there and the King of Wands. This could be somebody who owns their own business, or somebody who's got a zest for life themselves, which is what I think that you're looking for next year. Somebody that has, if they own their own business or they're doing something, it will be something where they're pushing outwards and they're the boss, or something where that's exciting and it makes me feel like not many other people do this business. They need a challenge. It just feels like somebody that gets up early in the morning and charges up the day, when you may not have a lot of fire in you, but that's something you may want to grow, because you're coming across here as the King of Swords, which is a strong personality. But with the Hermit and the Four of Swords there, it feels to me like you do a lot of watching and wanting to understand. And that's a great part of it. But with the Ace of Wands behind and the King of Wands here, you want more involvement, you want more love, attraction, excitement and movement next year. And I think this is going to come in the form of a relationship. Makes me think of somebody tall. I don't know why. It must be the Emperor and the King of Wands together. You know, sometimes our personalities, you know, when people are like full of energy and they stand straight. And I don't know why I notice people's energy when they're walking. I think it says quite a lot. Your person looks as if they walk with a bit of a, not an arrogance, but a bit of a strut. It doesn't feel loud. It feels confident. Your person feels confident. Let me put some more cards out. This feels like a relationship that starts with a small offering. We were talking about snowballing here, and you've got the Page of Cups down here, but you've got the Death card here, and I wonder, it's like being introduced to another energy. Your person feels like you're being introduced to another energy that is much needed. I'll give you a quick example here. I've met an old friend over the Christmas holidays, and we were friends right in our 20s, and we both went different ways. And his life he's lived is like Walter Mitty. He's talking about trips to Antarctica, went from New Zealand where he was sick for 6 weeks. You know, sick on the boat, basically chucking up for 6 weeks, but he got a huge amount of money at the end of it. And then he's talking about flying to Thailand and living in Thailand in a shack in the middle of nowhere that had a studio at the top. And he said he was really lonely on his own for 3 weeks. And he decided to go to a bar and met lots of Aussie girls, and a couple of those just got flyers going and started a yoga studio. It was fantastic. I loved every minute of it. It was like talking to Walter Mitty. There's lots of other stories about a house that he wanted to buy and didn't buy, and there was like a coal shaft underneath, and then another woman bought it and then got paid like thousands and thousands by the government because of the coal underneath it. Anyway, it was just fantastic. But this feels like you're meeting that type of person with this energy that pulls you out of a comfort zone that you're quite ready to move out of. It feels like this person has a bit of fun and movement about them. And with the Death card here and the Lovers, it changes your whole perspective on who you are and what you want in life. It is like meeting somebody. And in a small way, meeting this old friend made me change and think, well, what do I want over the next year? I don't want, life's been quiet, I think, for a couple of years now for most people, or it's been hard. Quiet and hard, I think, could be both. And it's like there's there's lots of different avenues that we could all possibly choose, but we get stuck in our comfort zone. But you've come to, I guess, an inward decision that you don't want that anymore, and it feels like this person comes in, and we talk about soulmates. I don't really talk about soulmates, but I was talking on the comments section the other day, and this lady said, this person changed my life. That's what I would call a soulmate. That's probably what I don't really know about the ins and outs, but it's somebody that comes into your life and helps you be more of you. Maybe through challenges. This doesn't feel like challenges. This feels like pulling the best out of you. But there's also a feeling here with all this, with the Emperor being quite pushy, the King of Wands being quite passionate in life, passionate with themselves and passionate with others, and quite strong personality, that it's not easy going all the time, that this person may push you into situations that you're unsure about. With this card here, it's like you've been watching, waiting, trying to understand. So there may be points in this next 6 months when this person comes into your life, if they may be there already, where you're actually feeling as if they're pushing you out of your comfort zone, and they will be. But the changes with a Death card here, internal cards, watching and waiting, things needing to get moving, person, you coming across as quite cool here. And the Five of Wands is probably that antagonistic growth. And it's the friction and the rub that makes us grow. And that's why we're here. And it hurts sometimes, but it's still part of it. And we've got to learn to somehow enjoy it. Even depends on which part of the process you're in. Oh my God, because it's been quite difficult, hasn't it? Right, so scenarios here wouldn't surprise me with the Emperor and the Ace of Pentacles, the King of Wands, whether you have a change in career, this person comes in through that door, or whether meeting this person makes you change your career. You could possibly work together in some way. And I don't know whether that is working together as in like 9 to 5, having a job, or it could be just meeting this person, having a passion or a hobby where it mixes together, you know, like buying a boat together, going sailing. Because this has a feeling of action. And with the Emperor and the Ace of Pentacles here, it's actually going to happen. It's not going to be talking about it. It feels like things are going to get moving. So if you've got a hobby, if there's something in your life that you're really enjoying and you haven't met anybody yet, you know, if you like sailing, go join a sailing club. If you want to, if you like climbing, I don't think of sports here, you know, go and join a climbing club. King of Wands would love that. It's like whatever gives you that, you know, energy, birds of a feather flock together. So that energy that you've got that is humming around inside you, go and do something that you love, because that's where you will find somebody that you love. Don't sit at home, get moving, because this to me feels like, if there was one message in this, it's, you know, and you haven't met anybody yet, is go do something you love, because that will open you up and be more of yourself. And then this will open the door for this person coming in. And it feels like excitement and movement and passion and attraction and excitement and excitement and excitement. Here. Right. I'm going to leave that. That to me is, if it was mine, I'd love it. My tarot card spread for New Year was not like that. It was nothing as exciting as that. Right, pan number 1. I'm going to leave you there. Thank you very much. Bye. Okay. This feels to me, I'm not sure what I'm talking about as yet, but what I was thinking, I was putting these cards out, it's like not the Tale of Two Cities, but the stories of two halves. I don't know if you've ever read any of those romantic novels, like The Bronze Horseman, beautiful. Far Pavilions, beautiful. But to me, beautiful in the first half. The second half can't be bothered. It's like, I couldn't put the books down to begin with, and then it's like, what happened? It's just lost it for me. This feels to me as if there's going to be a challenge at the beginning of the 6 months, and the second half of the year, maybe you readjusting, and it feels like it's a longer process than you may think. It's not just going to be done in 6 months. It feels to me as if you're fed up of something, fed up in a situation, ready for change. You may have spent the last year, I don't know the timing here, being something that you don't feel quite satisfied with, doing something or belonging to something, whether it's a relationship, a work situation. I can't tell, to be honest. Work maybe, I don't know. To me, it's mental processes. It feels like you may be running along with something. It's like holding the baton in the relay and looking at and thinking, what on earth am I doing? Why am I holding a baton and running? Sometimes I go running and I've seen young kids say to their mums, why is she running? And I'm like, I can't answer that. I really can't answer it. It feels like that. Because you've got behind you, you've got the Four of Pentacles and you've got the Seven of Swords. That to me is keeping hold of the status quo, but it not serving you anymore. It feels like subconsciously you're ready to get out. You're ready to make a move. You're ready for change. You've got here the Page of Wands here. It feels like Page of Wands is like something's moving, something's going. It may be small, but you still keep on going with it. But internally, you're like, this isn't working. And the Tower is that moment when you just give it up. You just give it up. And what comes over the next 6 months, I guess, is the Justice and the Strength. To me, that feels like internal power, because that's balance, that's Libra, that's ease. The Strength card as well makes me think ease with yourself. It feels like by changing tack, changing direction, letting things flow rather than holding on. And there's a strong feeling here, the Four of Pentacles, that it is like the way forward is to actually give up, not trying to make things push into what you feel you ought to be. And the Strength card is almost like an internal handshake with yourself, saying, well done. Doesn't feel like after letting something letting something out of your life, or letting something flow away from your life, the Justice and the Strength card isn't one of those sort of, oh my God, what have I done? It's like, why didn't I do it sooner? It's like in doing and acting and letting go. Those are two things that don't seem to go together, but it feels like you're in charge of yourself and you've got your eye on the prize, and it's different from the prize that you had your eye on in the past. And it feels like by just moving forward that you've got, it feels like self-respect, to be honest, with the Justice and the Strength card there. It's like, yeah, this is me. Why have I been knocking my head against a brick wall? You may have been, because you're coming across as the Moon down here. This behind you, the Four of Pentacles, is holding on and maybe grasping onto things. Could be finances, could be a job, could be a situation that you feel safe. The Seven of Swords is internally, I guess, mentally playing with the need to change tack. And then the Tower is, it's done for you. It's done for you because you've taken too long in this energy. But what comes after what I guess is a period of confusion and not knowing what direction to take, that there's like an ease with it that you didn't expect. And I often think this energy is, you can't make your mind up. I have done this so many times. Let's just say you're in a job that isn't really what you feel like you should be doing. That is a possibility here. So what you do is you start playing up a bit. You turn up a bit later, or you're just a little bit rude in some conversation, or just, it's not me, it's somebody else, I'm sure. And in the end, you almost oust yourself out of it because people can smell that you're ready for it, and so they give you the Tower card. But by actually moving out of a situation with the Three of Wands here, it sets the ball rolling, and it's like you wipe the slate clean for new energy to come in. This is why it's a story of two halves. I don't feel that energy is going to come in the first 6 months. I think that probably the building energy, and one's anabolic and one's catabolic. Is that right? Which is one? Building's anabolic, isn't it? Yeah, catabolic, breaking down, first 6 months. Anabolic is building up, which is acidic, isn't it? When your body is acidic, it builds up DNA and things, and then that is probably you making new life in the latter half of the year. And the Four of Cups here is finding your feet, I guess. And you have, if you've got this energy for a period of time, it's almost like you need to internalize the changes before you start reaching out, because you're not ready. It's not, you want to be on like rebound and jumping into the next thing. It's like finding your footing. To me, this is what it feels like. What you've got at your disposal is complete clarity and love for yourself. You've got the Empress here and the Ace of Swords, and with this energy here, it feels like you're not beating yourself up about a certain situation, whether it's a relationship or a job or a house move, a country, I don't know. There's change coming, and it's like acceptance and acknowledging that you've dealt with everything in a way that you're really proud of. Because the Empress, as I said, with the anabolic and catabolic, the Empress is a builder and builds beauty. And you're asking to hold on to your horses for a bit, although there's clarity here. But the Empress is Taurus. It's going to be Venus actually, but it's going to be a slow builder. It's like the beauty will flourish in the second half of the Bronze Horseman. I know it didn't, but you will. What you've got that's going to antagonize you through this change in you, I think, is going to be a need to defend off other people. People will be saying, why don't you do this? Why don't you? And in the first part, I was telling the story of this guy that I've met. I haven't met since my 20s. A really fun guy. And he's come back from travelling around the world for 20 years. It's just really interesting. Every story he's got is like Walter Mitty. You have to listen to part 1 to hear some of them. I'm not going to repeat them again. But with the several, he says that he's come back and he's living with his dad. And he's in his like mid-40s. He's living with his dad, and he says that he gets up in the morning and his dad's booked him in to see the accountant because he's self-employed. And he's like, well, Dad, and he's put on these impressions of, like he's a Kevin and Perry. Oh, well, you don't book me in to see my dad. You know what I'm doing today? He's doing absolutely nothing all day. But it's that thing that people might have your best interests at heart and pushing into situations. You're like, no, hold on. And with this energy here, I know what I want to do. I'm just taking my time about it here. And you may actually, I may have to retract slightly on that, because you've got the King of Wands here and a fire card here. You may feel like you're doing the wrong thing by not pushing forward, but I reckon these cards here, which are your support cards, the Ace of Swords, that's clarity, and the Empress is slow growth, are your friends. So don't feel guilt about not pushing forward. It's, wait until June, July to start really moving with where you want to go. Other people will have fantastic advice for you. Other people will know exactly what you need, and you're like, when you're holding these cards here, you know exactly what you need. And so take your time to grow into who you want to be, and don't jump into. When I say rebound, I always think of that old game that they had in the 70s. That didn't it? It was like a ball bearing that hit the side, then came back down. And I don't know what it was, but don't jump into things. Don't catapult yourself into things until you're sure. Okay, pile number 2, I'm going to wrap this up and just say that you've got a fantastic year ahead for finding yourself, and it feels like you don't get this chance very often to feel so solid inside yourself. It feels like beauty, and it feels like control, and it feels like the correct type of aim through clarity. You also feel as well as if you may have other people interfering, but they don't know your, I'm going to say back process, which doesn't make sense, but they don't know what you've been through to get to this stage here. So nobody knows. It's like you should be the only judge of where you want to go, because it feels like time's needed for you to grow into your own true, beautiful, blossoming Empress. I'm going to leave that there, pile number 2. Thank you for sharing time with me. Bye. Okay, pile number 3. I think that you already have a dastardly plan. This is the words I was thinking of when I was dealing this, a dastardly plan. You have got behind you, you've got the World and the Chariot, and they're big cards. One's for endings, and the Chariot is, to me, it feels like somebody with a passion and an intention that's trying to move forward after either deciding something doesn't fit into their life, and there could also be the possibility in a mundane situation of house move, or moving across continents, moving across countries here as well. And it feels like you're doing it with not eye on the prize. You feels like you're doing it with gumption is probably what I'm thinking here, because you've got the Knight of Pentacles. Internally, I can see people like packing bags, packing boxes, making changes, but I don't know whether this is just a case of this card here with these cards here is internal preparation for making a move, and this could be like getting your accounts together, getting your finances together, ready for something new. And the Ace of Wands is that it starts. It absolutely starts. The Six of Wands is like riding on a wave, and with the Ace of Cups, it's like doing something in these first 6 months where you feel like you are on your high horse. It feels, like not like a rodeo, but it just feels like you look good, you feel good, people are attracted to you. The move that I think you've already got up your sleeve is in process, and it's bringing in lots of what I would say attractive energy, not just you looking good, but a feeling of other people coming into your life that, I don't know why it feels a Venus, but it feels like, it's like beauty, but it should be fire, but it's not, because of the Ace of, I don't know actually. The two aces here are definitely excitement and movement, and it feels like it's got it's encapsulated with attraction or beauty or looking good, but it's big change. Don't know, can't say that really well. Hold on, I'll get there. Now you're coming across with the Devil card at the bottom and with the World card and the Chariot behind. Makes me think that it wouldn't surprise me if everybody knew what you were up to but didn't know. It feels like you are heading somewhere and your strength of purpose is like mist feeding out of you, that people can smell it, and you have got an eye on the prize. Big changes, I think, in the first 6 months, but there's still that strong feeling here that you know this already. There's also a feeling here of a new relationship, especially if it's somebody who is got a water sign like Cancer, Pisces or Scorpio in their chart. So as I'm going through this, I'm getting different feels here. All the way through this, though, there's a strong feeling that you know already. All the way through this pile, it feels like you are wiping away the whole slate and shoving everything behind you. You know what you're wiping away and you know what the next process is, and you're ready for it, and you feel confident and you feel as if the world is in your lap. You've got things moving already. You've got to have things moving already, and it's going to be a big change. There's a possibility, I'm going to say this could be you, but with the Ace of Cups and the King of Cups here, it's like there's a slight warning in here as well. It's by changing your circumstances, by getting your whole life moving. It's like being pushed down a road that has, and this is where the Venus feeling is, attractive people to you on that road. This sounds ridiculous, but in my head I've got a feeling of you getting into a car and the end of the road is exactly where you want to go. It's not like you're going to meander anyway off into a side road. You know what you're doing because you've packed the car with all your ideas, or you know what you want to do with yourself. And as you pick that road and go down that road, which you think is for you, which may actually involve house change, movement, job change, big change, it's these people at the side of the road that are going to get in your car with you have got a feeling of openness and love and being good. I'm going to say good looking, and I don't know why I keep saying it. There is a slight warning here, which I said earlier, of when you get into your car, it's like don't lose contact with everything else behind you. If you've got quite a passionate nature that likes to jump into events, which with the two aces there and the World behind and the Tower card and the Devil, you very likely might have, it feels as if you need to keep, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. It's like keep contact even if you hate your job or you hate your girlfriend, you hate your boyfriend, you hate your house. It's like if you're moving on, just keep things open. Don't be too dramatic or too in just one direction. It feels like make the move, but keep yourself to yourself. Don't tell people. You know when people leave jobs and they want to take other people with them? This is a disgusting job, isn't it? That type of thing. So that everybody feels the same, which is, I assume, is quite normal. It's like, don't do that here. It's like make your move and concentrate exactly where you want to be. Because it's once you get into that car, it's like you feel, it's the Six of Wands, it's got to be the Six of Wands and the Ace of Cups and the King of Cups. It's like you look good, you feel good, you've got a different energy about you, and then you're bringing different people into your car who have that energy. It's like attraction, and it feels as if you shine in some way that people just emit handsomeness, don't they? And I don't just mean by looks, it's just who they are and the way that they come across. And it's the most attractive thing, especially if you're not good looking, I think. If you're not good looking and you've just got that energy that pulsates out of you, like you've got everything going on, it's intriguing. That feels to me like a bit of a double barrel thing. It feels with the Six of Wands that you look good, to be honest, and there's other people around you that look good. It feels like a socialite type of feeling, but it feels as if there's genuine affection between the people that you come into contact with. and there's one specific relationship, a strong personality, there's one specific relationship that you indulge in. I'm saying indulge because you've got the Devil, the Ace of Cups and the King of Cups. So that to me is Walter. Who's Walter? Maybe Walter. I actually know somebody called Walter. And water can be quite indulgent. You know, they get stuck in things. They like to swim in things. They like to hold things, and they like to hold tight. And the Devil card here, very much so. Don't know, does water? I'm thinking Cancer. Pisces may not want to hold tight. Scorpio and Cancer do. The Devil card definitely does. But there is a warning here that this may not even be a warning. This may just be a possibility. It is in a section here for challenges here that the challenge possibly could be, and the World card here twice and the Fool card, that you may be moving totally outside of your comfort zone, and that may be your challenge. You know, you could be basically moving big time, you know, not just next door and putting your furniture across over the fence. Big changes in the next 6 months, I think. And where will you be with regards to this? You will be feeling extremely attractive. You will have people around you that, to me, it feels like a Libra feeling here, and I don't know why, of, you know, sociable people that look good, quite charming, with a real affection for you and vice versa. But it feels that that is part of a process of you dumping things behind you to move on to this. And I think you know what you're doing already, because you've got two aces in here. You've got the Knight of Pentacles and the Chariot behind. That, to me, with the positions that they're in, is working behind the scenes to wrap things up, possibly. It wouldn't surprise me if your New Year's resolutions were to move on and to stand up for yourself and to take control of your life and to do it with a bit of oomph. And it wouldn't surprise me as well as if this has been pre-planned. A bit like pile number 2, what you've got at your disposal here with the Hangman and the Knight of Swords, to me makes me think that this movement has already started, because the Knight is movement. The Swords make me think of clarity, because I think you've got it in action. The Hangman makes me think of understanding life processes up to now. You know, you stopped and looked and watched and waited until you know this is the correct time. And the next 6 months, if you've got something in your mind that is moving, it is the correct time, because it all unfolds in, you know, you get those books that you sometimes see and somebody's carved the pages into trees or what, houses. It's like, this 6 months opens up and it would be a heart. It would be a love heart or something made out of the pages. But it's not going to come easy, because I think it's going to take a total uphaul, is that the right word, of your personality, of where you've stood in life up until now, and it feels like you're ready for it, and it feels like you pushed it yourself, to be honest. This to me is the Tower card, which is normally imposed on people who don't make changes, but the Chariot card and the World card behind you make me think that you already know what's coming, and it feels beautiful. It feels like you get time to be creative, you get time to, you know, when people have like, you often, you know, at certain periods of your life you have, I'm still waiting, you know, like a glow up, which I think is a great term. And I've seen it in people younger than me when they go through, you know, sometimes when you're a teenager and then you get to, I don't know, 17, 18 and whoa. And another one I'm thinking of is Jim Morrison, and he just lost a bit of weight. And men, I think, tend to, their face changes a lot when they lose weight, because very typically and very animalistic of us, without knowing it, I wonder whether we look for jawlines, and you lose weight and they get a very sharp jawline, and, you know, it just is one of those things. It just is. So it feels to me like you look good, feel good, and everybody else can see it, and there's people around you that are very similar. I'm thinking of Dorian Gray here, but that's got negative connotations. But you know, that sort of socialite, good-looking person that's involved in lots of different people, but without the talking mirror. Nobody needs that talking mirror. But I think it's going to be a big change here. And I'm going to go in a minute because I'm going to say the same thing again. Just to reiterate here, you've got the World and Chariot behind, and that is moving forward with purpose and basically wiping the slate clean. You've got here with regards to challenges, the World and the Fool. To me, that says the same thing. It's like jump, but make sure you keep some sort of contact. If that's a challenge and that's a big move, it's like, you know, don't disown your family, don't disown the people that you love, or you know, if you've got a house, rent it out, don't sell it. It's that type of feeling, like make the move, but be sensible with it. Sensible as your mum here. I think you know what you're doing already. You've got 2 aces in front of you. It's going to feel exciting. It's going to feel like a complete emotional different arena to play in. And it feels as if with the King of Cups at the end, it allows you to express yourself. It allows beauty in your life. And it possibly, very likely, allows a certain person to come in by you actually making the changes. Is like opening a door. It's like, yeah, you're fed up with the old you. Open this door and this person comes in. You look good. You feel good. This is like a complete change for 6 months to me. And it's been made, I think, with foresight, hindsight. What is the one? The Hangman and the Knight of Swords are like clarity in movement, that you understand who you want to be, where you want to be, and you get there. It's like love relationship amongst other things here, amongst complete life change, which I know is really dramatic for next 6 months ahead, but you know this already. If you don't know this may not be your power, because these are endings with intention behind. Right, I'm going to leave that there, pile number 3. Thank you very much for spending your time, and good luck. Bye.